Let's take you now to the Eastern Cape ANC spokesperson, Loyiso Magqashela. Loyiso, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. This conference is now really running almost 2 days behind schedule because we're coming to the end of a second day. Not much progress being made in terms of where the conference agenda should be. What's the hold-up from an official perspective? Why is the adoption of credentials taking so long?
Good evening, Kathy, and good evening to the viewers. One thing I should raise to you is that there are problems in different branches. Earlier on, we were brought to or made to believe that the only thing that needs to be attended to is the National Dispute Resolution committee verdicts that were not issued yet. Of course, they were finalizing that. And that was then dealt with. We were then again drawn to the other disputes that were filed by some branches, which the NDRC, working with the PDRC, attended to and issued verdicts, which was yesterday. And then that was then sorted. We expected that the meeting, will then proceed. Then we were alerted that there's a court case that has been opened where leadership of the ANC was made to attend to due to an interdict, and we had to then wait again for that process, which took place around 17 hours Saturday. And that one was, of course, struck off the roll because they were pointing to they were applying that there should be a barring of the participation of the branches of Dr. W. Mgqasela, which then again was addressed through that court process, because there was, of course, earlier through the national organizing as well as national officials, a consideration of those branches that where manipulation was reported. And then it was then decided as to how the process should unfold in those, and it explained to the rest of the plenary or conference delegates. And now the issue now seems to be delegates are clinging on those the court process that should not be undermined, yet it was struck off the roll. Then the issue of Mgqasela comes sharply, and it has been explained time and again that these two have no relation. They do not mix, and but there are people who have decided to dig their heels and refusing that the conference should proceed, because they're pointing at those which, of course, have no bearing and have no material effect.
Loyiso, at this point, I mean, is there a conversation taking place about whether this conference should be called off?
There's a meeting of the steering committee. They have been there almost 2 hours now, more than 2 hours, trying to listen to these matters, because there is an understanding when it gets to plenary. There seems to be a different understanding of how issues are unfolding or have been attended to at the level of both the Credentials Committee and the Steering Committee. But yeah, we will then await whatever would be the outcome, which of course at this stage there's no intention to call off the conference, but rather we are all determined, because whatever we resolved on was to clear everything else that is a query. And I think I was on record yesterday or that other day saying, in a conference of the ANC where there's contestation, there wouldn't be the satisfaction of everyone about every process, because
But Loyiso,
this is a game of numbers.
Given the extent of the contestation, you've already seen one court process unfold this weekend. Unquestionably, that by the time you get to some kind of outcome, if you're even able to get to the point of holding the actual election in this conference, that in and of itself is also going to be contested in the courts.
Look, you honestly do not, one can always do anything in an ANC, because ANC of late is prone to its members taking it to court, even those who are not members, because they will be challenging one or this or that, and we always try to play by the book so that everything else we do is above board, because the process, if I may just talk about it, has been dealt with as was directed by the judge in the East London court. Now, it's no longer a matter. That which was a complaint, it has been dealt with, and it's no longer a matter.
Loyiso, what's the worst case scenario? So what is the worst that will happen if this conference is called off and another date is set for it?
No, there would be, of course, a backlash, understand, but what needs to be done is just for us all to be sober at this, and then understand that if there is just that which can lead to us not to avoid any unintended situation, we just have to have leadership in those discussions that are taking place there, directing us all as to what needs to happen, so that because we are working with time frames. Of course, if something doesn't work the manner we would have loved it to work, then we need to then find an amicable solution. That, of course, would need be supported by all, but as long as it is a directive that would seek to, arrest whatever eventuality in the conference. Because what we are fighting at all costs is not to degenerate to the previous or 2017, occurrence. That's what we are trying by all means to avert, and I believe we're going to succeed in that one.
All right.
We can then, of course, on the guidance of the leadership, accept the delay of the conference. We look for another day, and we will, of course, have lost time and resources, money-wise. And, but if it is for a good cause, then we will accept whatever the leadership so direct.
Have you booked the venue for the next 2 or 3 days?
Of course, it will be depending. Of course, now we will continue until tomorrow, depending on what will come out of the deliberations there, because we have committed that we are not ending today because we have not done a thing. We have then extended the bookings and everything for the better part of today till tomorrow, because we're expecting that by this time we would have gone past credentials, would be voting, would be commissions and all of those. But unfortunately, we have not crossed that bridge. Then we have then decided that let us extend until tomorrow. Then what then the meeting will be bringing to our attention will then determine whether we sleep over, then tomorrow we take our bags and go home.
All right.
Set another day upon which it will take place. But we're still not certain now, but are waiting for the leadership to finish off the meeting.
Yeah, absolute chaos. Eastern Cape ANC spokesperson Loyiso Magqashela there.